been literally coughing my brains out for what feels like a month, but it's been a rough couple of weeks, and I've had to cancel a number of speaking engagements and meetings. My apologies to William and Joan Herlong, Owen Tyler, Palmetto Title Insurance, and all of the Columbia realtors. I'm sorry for missing the big luncheon last week. I heard it was a great turnout, and I'm glad that the SCR team was there in full force, and President Rhea, I know, did a great job on the association's behalf. But my apologies to everyone, but I'm back in the office, and we've got a lot of news, a lot of updates that I wanted to cover with you real quick. First, I wanted to send a reminder about the purple shoes. Thank you, Louis. If you've been seeing realtors, RPAC trustees, your local leaders wearing these purple shoes, then you've got to find out how to get a pair for yourself. And Louis is here at SCR, and he will be able to answer all of your questions. If you haven't already received an email from Louis, you will soon. So get on the purple train. And just a reminder, why are we pushing purple? Because we're not the red party, we're not the blue party. We don't care whether you're Republican or Democrat. We care about the Realtor Party. Red and blue make purple, which is our theme for the year. So get on board the Realtor Party train, and let's see some purple shoes all across the state. And Louis can tell you how to get them. Speaking of politics, we just finished the South Carolina Republican and Democrat primaries over the last couple of weeks while I've been sick. And you may wonder, where do realtors stand on presidential politics? Well, the reason you don't hear anything about presidential campaigns through RPAC Communications or through the association is because realtors at the National Association through RPAC do not engage in presidential politics. Thank goodness, for a lot of reasons. But those are, RPAC works on congressional campaigns, state house campaigns, local races, but does not engage. It's a common myth out there. I always get at least one email saying, well, why does RPAC support this presidential candidate or that presidential candidate? And the facts matter. The facts are that RPAC does not engage in presidential elections. So just wanted to dispel that myth out there right up front. We are in the middle of celebrating, well, not the middle, we're actually at the end of February here. We're close to the end of the month, which means we'll be wrapping up our celebration of African American History Month here in South Carolina. If you haven't checked out the latest Good Life podcast, I would encourage you to. We have some great realtor leaders who tell some fascinating stories about their history, their experience in real estate, and it's one that all of our members should know, and I think you'll have a very strong appreciation for it as well. So check out our latest podcast. I'll ask Mike to put a link in the comments. Speaking of which, a couple of statistics that were released this week that I thought were very interesting. The National Association released some statistical information this week that showed that South Carolina ranks very high in home ownership and stands out from most other states, in particular in a couple of categories. South Carolina has the second highest home ownership rate for African Americans, second highest of any other state in the country, and South Carolina has the highest home ownership rate for Asian Americans. So our and we see, you know, the other fast-growing demographic are the Hispanic community, and I think we'll see those numbers increase in the future as well. Interest rates last week got really, really close to 7%. Fannie reported 6.9% at the end of the week. We're still expecting, you know, the Fed promised rate cuts going into this year. We haven't seen those yet. Inflation is still kind of creating some concerns, which kept the reserve neutral at its last meeting. Hopefully we'll see some action moving forward as we get into the busy spring and summer selling months. Excuse me one second. I've got to get some water, Mike. This cough has been something terrible. It's a miracle I haven't coughed a lung out yet during this update. So the last thing, I spoke too soon. The last thing I wanted to share with you, some news on the legal front. Last week, some pretty important news was released concerning the DOJ providing some input, a briefing in the MLS PIN, the PIN MLS case in Massachusetts, and it's the first time that we've seen the actual thinking behind the DOJ's concerns regarding these class action suits that are taking place around the country. They're trying to summarize what the DOJ said last week. I think it's pretty simple. They want to see, the DOJ I think wants to see a commission structure where sellers pay the listing agent their commission, and buyers pay the buyer's agent their commission. They want to see, I think, a structure where sellers do not proactively offer compensation to buyers. Now, they did not say that they didn't want sellers to pay compensation to buyers, and that could be negotiated directly by the buyer with the seller through the real estate contract. So we, I think, are going to see this bear some influence on the final orders that'll be coming out of the Burnett case out of Missouri, and that and the other cases I think that are pending. One other note to plug in here without getting too far into the legal weeds. There is a hearing next month, March 28th, I believe is the date, where the consolidation of these multiple copycat lawsuits all over the country that have been filed. There's going to be a hearing on March 28th on whether or not to consolidate these cases into one or into regional cases. So that is going to be, again, another kind of important date in the timeline here as we move forward. But in breaking news today, that I wanted to share one last thing before we end the update. You'll be hearing more about this directly from the National Association of Realtors. But NAR announced today that they are going to be making the accredited buyer representation course, the initial ABR offering, available to all members at no cost. Normally, that's about a $295 registration fee that you would have to pay to sign up. And check your emails. NAR will be providing a list of dates and times. This will be available throughout 2024 for all Realtor members. So pretty good value, a great value. And whether you're buyer representative expert, whether you need to brush up on your buyer representation skills, or if you're a brand new agent, never better than now to invest in yourself. And NAR's designation courses are always pretty top-notch. So, Mike, I think that's going to end my update for today. Realtors, thank you. I'm glad I made it through the update without too many problems this morning. But it's good to be back with you, and look forward to catching up again with you real soon. Have a great week. Stay strong and take care.